Welcome to this MTZ weekly astrology forecast for August 8th through the 14th of 2016. So this week we have Mercury going over the North Node and trining Pluto, Jupiter opposite Chiron, Saturn's going direct, and Venus in a T-square over the weekend. This is a week of deep thinking, healing future outlooks, foundations in our life moving forward, as well as personal development through our values and relationships. In this video, I'm going to show you how to work with and master these astrological transits, coming up next. Let's look at the first half of the week where we have Mercury conjunct the North Node and trine Pluto. Mercury, the planet of our practical mind, is going over the life path part of the sky. We can learn a lot about where we can grow and develop along our life journey. We may even have new insights about our life direction and destiny. The North Node has always been regarded as a very karmic planet that represents our future unfoldment and our destiny. With Pluto in the trine, we could have a willingness to dive deep into things, whether it's with our relationships, doing research, or learning more about ourselves on a deeper level. This powerful energy of Pluto can help us uncover the things that are under the surface. If you consider the Greek mythology of Hades, who represents the Roman god Pluto in modern times, he was the god of the underworld, everything beneath the earth and where the souls of man go after death. Hermes, represented as Mercury today, had a role in all of this. His job was to guide the souls of the dead to the brink of the river that led to the underworld, where the ferryman Chiron would send them across. This early part of the week, Hermes himself will cross the river and be visiting his uncle Hades in the underworld. With Mercury representing our minds and Hades representing the deeper aspects of life, we will have a greater understanding about everything deep. This is a great first half of the week for all types of research, psychology, intimacy, transformation, and a raw, real perspective about the non-visible side of life. With the North Node in conjunction, how we can take this deeper understanding and learn more about how we can grow, develop, and evolve to meet our destiny and life fulfillment. Here's the list of areas Mercury is currently transiting for you. Remember, this is for Sidereal Astrology, so the signs are different. If you are new to the channel, check below for more information. Consider how you can bring in some depth to these areas of life. What can you learn about in these areas that will assist you along the life journey? How can you grow and develop in these areas? These are the areas that are your current life path fulfillment for the next year and a half. Now let's look at Jupiter opposite Chiron, in effect all week and going exact on Friday. This is the last aspect between these two planets and have been in effect since early November of last year. Jupiter, which represents our view of everything that's possible in life, is opposite Chiron, who represents where we feel wounded and are healing. This aspect since November has been helping us heal so that we can have a healthy view of what's possible. When we have deep wounds and feelings of insecurity, we can easily go to extremes and imbalance ourselves. With our worldview and future horizons, this can be an over or under extreme of future possibilities. Sometimes we might be very optimistic about what can come our way, while other times pessimistic or narrow-minded about what's possible. The key with this aspect has been to heal ourselves of any wounds we might feel regarding our view of our horizons. That in order to have a clear view of our future, we must do the internal healing necessary that is preventing us from having a grounded yet inspiring view of life. The interesting thing about Chiron, however, is that if you look at the mythology, he was considered the wounded healer. Accidentally shot in the leg with an arrow poisoned with the blood of the Hydra, the arrow caused an uncurable wound. Attempting to heal his wound, Chiron became a masterful healer. Although tragically, he was never able to heal his own wound. This story is a great example about the part of us that has a wound we cannot heal. However, as we learn about it, we learn to accept it and work with it. As a result, we become mature and balanced healers, helping others in the process. Here's a list of areas Jupiter is transiting for you. This week, see where you can heal any wounds you might have regarding these areas. Through this healing, where you can bring in more of a balanced perspective, and as a result, have a healthy and centered lifestyle. Acceptance is key with Chiron, and it is through this acceptance we transform. Now let's look at this weekend where we have Saturn going direct. This is a forward-moving energy of our structures and foundations, particularly with what we've been reworking over the past 4.5 months. With Saturn stationed this week, everything we've been building in our lives is pausing for a greater understanding about how to move things forward with maturity and discipline. Think about what you've learned these past months about patience, persistence, and how you can now apply these qualities in your life. Saturn, or Kronos in Greek mythology, was known as the Titan of harvest. He was the ruler during the mythological Golden Age on Earth before Zeus. Under Saturn's rule, things on Earth were plenty, and men and women virtuous and just. This abundance, however, was not given freely, and man had to work for it. However, the world was plentiful for those who cultivated it. Saturn represents where we have an opportunity to work towards solid, long-lasting results, where we can put in the effort needed to build the results we want to see. Through this willingness to put in steady action, planning, patience, and persistence, the hard work through time often pays off. Here are the areas Saturn is going direct for you. Consider where you can bring in some of these grounded and persevering qualities of life into these areas. What have you learned the past 4.5 months about these areas that you can now move forward and implement this week? Results come in time, but often only through the willingness to build solid things, particularly in the areas Saturn is transiting. Now let's look at the final aspect of the week where Venus will be in a T-square with Neptune and Saturn. Much like last weekend, where we were working on our ability to release and surrender with Mercury in this part of the sky, Venus, the planet of our values and relationships, is here this week. When it comes to the things we enjoy in life, both materially and interpersonally, Venus here suggests the importance of detachment to our desires and willingness to be patient. With the opposition up to Neptune, we can be overly idealistic and place things and people on pedestals. This, however, is our own projection onto these things and can cause imbalances. The key with Venus and Neptune is to bring in a dose of detachment, to remove ourselves and surrender these values so that we can enjoy them for what they are, not what we want them to be, which often leads to confusion, misunderstanding, and doubt. To connect to things we enjoy and others in an unconditional way, with acceptance, gratitude, and appreciation. This is a great weekend to challenge ourselves, to bring in both the accepting and mature qualities to our material enjoyments and relationships. Here's a list of areas Venus is transiting for you. See how you can bring in this unconditional and grounded approach to these areas. How can you surrender and detach, as well as take slow and steady steps towards actualizing long-lasting values in these areas? So this week we have Mercury over the North Node trine Pluto, helping us see the deeper side to life and what we can do to cultivate our future life path direction. This is a great time for seeing and connecting to the dimensions of life that are normally hidden from view. With Jupiter opposite Chiron, where we can do some healing with our outlook of what's possible in life. Through this acceptance and learning about our wounds, we free ourselves up to open our horizons in a balanced and healthy way. With Saturn going direct, where we can implement structure and disciplined work. Long-lasting things are built through patience and persistence. Lastly, with Venus in a T-square with Neptune and Saturn, detachment and surrender to our values in life. See how you can bring in unconditionality and grounded maturity with the things and people we want to connect to. So have a fantastic week. Thank you for watching. If you would like to see how these events are affecting you personally, and for a look at your chart for the next 12 months, you can get in touch for a personal reading by clicking the link on the screen or in the description below. So thank you for all of your support. Have a great one, and I'll see you next week.